let's fire up game 2 here for the TeamSpeak TL Open number 8. It is Ciara versus Thorzain on Scrap Station.
Link engaged.
All right, Scrap Station. And yeah, I think we can scratch our heads here a little bit. Or scrap our heads a little. Oh, no, that's a terrible play on words there.
djWHEAT.
Why? Oh, why does a Terran decide to choose Scrap Station? Certainly a map that people talk about. Oh, it is the Zerg map. Every Zerg wants to play it all the time. And we've seen some really awesome Zerg strategies develop on Scrap Station. Everyone can always say, "Oh, it's the mutas," but I like some of these quick hydras through the middle and just trying to sort of overpower an opponent that way. Versus a Terran, something that definitely could be done. But what are your thoughts, Chill, on Thorzain deciding to go with Scrap Station?
Well, just I'll jump in a sec. Just going to introduce the players. We've got Thorzain, just in case you forgot from last game. He's playing Taran at the 12 o'clock as a red Terran, and in the bad Zerg spot as yellow Zerg, we have Ciara, who's up 1-0. I guess if I'm playing Terran on Scrap Station, I have two ideas, especially if I'm picking it. It's very strong early game for Zerg to just throw down that hatchery and play a strong early mid game, but let's not even analyze what I could do, because look at this proxy barracks going on about halfway down out of Thorzain and a second proxy barrack. So he's going to try to punish the fast expansion that he knows is coming from Ciara, and Ciara may be playing right into that, going to go ahead and put down a 15 hatchery. We need to look very closely at when his pool comes.
Yeah, I agree, because at this point, some players will actually throw out a few more drones and then drop the pool. Right. So 14, there it goes. Drone goes out. Pool is going to go down 14. So he's not going to try to cut any corners here, and that could ultimately save his life. Now, the Zerg, when the hatchery finishes, in comparison to the barracks are going to finish. First Marines are already going to go out. So the Zerg oftentimes will put that spine crawler down there at the natural to help out with this, but the first Marine will hit in that sort of timing window there. So he'll have to get Zerglings out to assist with this, and he is going to find it here really soon. Now, the good thing about this is the Terran isn't by any means all-inning with this, because it just means they have this awesome wall here that will allow them to get an expansion up and not really get harassed unless the Zerg player goes mutilous. So here comes that first Marine Chill making his march up to Ciara's base.
Yeah, it's not all in unless he sends the SCVs, which he's clearly not doing. Ciara pulling all the drones to try to catch that SCV. Somehow that SCV was greased up in oil or something. I don't know how he slipped through there, but still gets away with his life. Two Marines now joining the fight. And I mean, Ciara knew this was coming before he actually saw the Marines, because that Overlord saw that there was nothing coming out for the Terran player. Being very aggressive with these Marines. 3 Marines can kill 4 Zerglings, so Ciara needs to pull back, taking a lot of damage on that 4th Zergling. He needs to be ever so careful as I bring up the production tab to see what he's making. Only Zerglings and a Queen, not even taking his gas yet. So I like that. He's got to defend this. But look back at the Terran Natural putting down a command center. So this is just pressure and then expand. And I absolutely love that out of Terran. Look at this. Even putting down a bunker at the Zelnaga, so he has somewhere to fall back to in case he gets overwhelmed by Zerglings.
Yeah, there's and he's going to go ahead and try to bust into these Zerglings. The bunker is not down yet, but those Marines are just going to completely annihilate that. And you know what? The Terran probably would have been completely happy just sitting back and not doing anything, but Thorzain's like, dude, I just took out 10 Zerglings. He's not going to have anything, and he's pretty much right. There's 8 Zerglings at the ramp. He's going to have to make 8 more, and the amount of drones that he's made that he's probably wanted to, he was already forced to make 8 Zerglings, and now he's being forced to make another 12. He has not made a drone. He had to throw down a spine crawler, so his economy is going to be not as ahead as he would have liked it to be. I don't think he should have attacked in with those Zerglings, and again, more pressure by the Terran, and he just backs off again.
And this is a lesson that I think if we kind of fast forward to StarCraft 2 a year from now, you're never going to see slow Zerglings fighting Marines. It's just it's so easy to pull the Marines back and just dance them back and forth. So you should really be holding off until you get that metabolic boost, which we see Ciara is making now. I mean, even if you look at the units lost, well, that's a big fat 0 for red. So really uncomfortable position for the Zerg player. Harvester is also favoring red, the Terran Thorzain, despite having that slower expansion. And now with the 2 mules dropping out, that's really going to increase the disparity. Zerg is trying to counter by breaking down the destructible rocks, but he doesn't want to get trapped by these Marines until he's got Zergling speed.
Yeah, good Overlord placement up there. Does allow him to see this train of Marines that's coming up. He does have a single spine crawler right there. And what will that make the Terran do? Well, drones are being pumped right now, so the larva is not very plentiful for the Zerg. He's only got a few at each hatch. But again, the Terran just kind of poking in, seeing what he's going to do. Now he's going to go for these back rocks. So expect to see possibly, that was the spine crawler. He had moved that. So another spine crawler there would be nice just to help to protect that area. But again, he's just going to back off and continue this pressure. And maybe just look at the Terran base right now, focus, because we've been keeping a close eye on the Zerg. Right now, a couple of barracks in the middle there. So 4 barracks up total, 2 gas up. And then the expansion is well underway. Right now, Lair is halfway done, and it's being made at the natural. We see that a lot of times, just in case he needs those extra hit points. And that is about it right now, just continuing to punch out drones. So he is now trying to get his economy up and working at those middle rocks again, which, Chill, I'm not sure. It depends on what he's going to decide to do with Lair. But, you know, unless you're going to be ready to pump out a ton of units and go through there, you know, maybe he will go for like that Hydralisk style play where you just fire on through here. But this can also be really, 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 really bad.
Yeah, you know, I keep looking around for a Baneling nest, but it's not in existence. That's the one thing that would make sense to me. And look at that, djWHEAT, you're psychic, because a Hydralisk den going down as soon as the layer finishes. But if I'm Zerg, I'm not going to be breaking down these destructible rocks until I have Banelings. But he's really pressing the issue here. Now there's a Marauder spotting. Destructible rocks going down pretty quickly as they're kind of laid out vertically there. A lot of damage can be done by just Zerglings. And here comes another Terran push, moving into the Zerg natural.
Oh, you are absolutely right, Chill, about those Baneling nests. You know, he is not going to have Hydras out in time for this fight. And even if he did have Hydras, he still wants to lower those Marine numbers. And although he does have a lot of Speedlings and a Spine Crawler, let's see how this fight. He's going to go in past the Marines, gets a beautiful, beautiful surround. Nothing around to pick it up. But there might just be too many Terran units. And there are. If he was a little bit closer, would have had some help from that Spine Crawler. Could have been different. Now, the question is, we've got 6 Hydras out. But again, too many Marines. I think the big mistake there is exactly as you said. Without that Baneling nest, think about how he could have whittled the numbers. And look, they're going to target that Hydralisk, then out come the Hydralisk. Will they be able to do the damage that he needs to have them do?
Very strange build here. You know, Marines do really well against Hydralisk. It doesn't seem that way, but they actually do. And this isn't Brood War. You can't really kill Marines and Marauders with Zerglings anymore. You need Banelings. And imagine if a few Banelings, even 2 or 3, had came when Ciara completely surrounded that Terran Thorzain army. That would have just completely demolished them. But you know, we can imagine all day what would have happened. And really, Thorzain is just in the perfect position. He's got 2 factories actually making tanks. He's got 4 barracks putting down 2 more. It's, you know, Zerg has just missed his timing. Even if he breaks down the rocks, he's very transparent. Taran knows exactly what the Zerg is up to, and you know the tanks are just gonna obliterate him. Like, you may want to throw down a Spire or switch it up, because this has no chance of working in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it went back in for the Hydralisk. I mean, at this point, I think the Zerg wants to have like 10 to 12 Hydralisks and really just a high level of DPS before those tanks get out, before Siege was finished. And if he would have just had a couple of Banelings, I think that he could have easily rolled in there and done some serious damage to the Terran. But again, the fact, you know, I do like the fact that he's decided to take this 3rd base, but I feel like the Terran setting himself up, having that bunker in the middle, you know, no vision of it yet, but just kind of set up. I mean, the Zerg right now, I think, needs to fall back, take a 3rd base, and just kind of wait here, because they can't attack into this, especially Siege is done now. So what's he going to do?
Right, and Thorzain is even playing geniusly because he's stimming a single Marauder, scanning and taking out the creep tumors, and that just makes a Hydra-based Zerg so uncomfortable. You can see he's pressing the issue, trying to bring this Queen in to lay creep tumors, but it's just going to take so long for the creep tumors to get in again. And I like that Terran's not being aggressive. He has no real need to. He's just kind of sitting back, building a lot of stuff, and waiting.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Ciara's just set out right in the middle here. If the Terran actually unsees and push forward, and here he goes, he's going to move forward his main army here. And wisely, the Zerg does fall back a little bit. And now they're going to be separated from the attack. So if there's a time to attack, it is now. In come the Zerglings. And he's got to be careful not to get past those siege lines. The tanks siege up right in the middle. They're going to help out with some damage. Medevacs do pick up those units right there. But now the Zerg cannot get greedy. Maybe losing a few too many Hydralisks there. Needs to be careful. 26 more Zerglings coming out. I did like the way that Ciara handled that attack, but still needs to be on edge a little bit and on the defensive.
Yeah, I mean, the Hydras are the damage dealers, and the Zerglings are kind of just the damage takers. And here comes another Terran attack. He's now leapfrogging his tanks forward, sieging up, taking out a lot of Zerglings with that siege fire, falling back with the all-important Marines and Marauders. Medevac's still alive and well, and that is it. Zerg just getting completely steamrolled at the will of Thorzain, and he is going to move on, and we're going to have an old-fashioned Terran versus Terran finals. Wait, no, we're not.
No, that was game
disconnected.
2. That was game 2.
Whoops! Rewind.
Yeah. Yeah, that was game 2. So it's still tied 1-1. And, I have to say, I don't think that Ciara I don't think that was a bad strategy by any means. We talked about that quick Hydralisk through the middle there, and I'm certain that's what he wanted to do. But quite frankly, Thorzain just did such a remarkable job faking or just applying pressure and just forcing Ciara to get way behind on that build. I mean, if he could have just sat there, droned, and then instantly just busted out a ton of Hydralisks in that timing before the tanks and the siege was done and then gone through the middle, I think it would have been very successful. So Thorzain just proves that, I guess as a Terran, I like that, moving out to the center of the map, sort of making sure nothing can get past there. And then it's like, okay, as long as I'm prepared for mutas and I'm scouting my opponent and know what they're doing, I'm going to have this no problem. And as you mentioned, the biggest mistake by far was the Banelings. And maybe that's not a part of how he wanted the build to play out, but he absolutely needed them on that first attack.